Recording in progress.
Sounds good.
Good morning. Good morning. Today is episode 52. Shout out to Patrick Willis. And it is entitled, I kind of thought this was a clever title, Self-Destruct with Self-Esteem.
Very fitting.
Yeah. Very Offspring.
Yeah, you know what? When you pitched me the idea for this week, like, hey, let's do this. And as soon as I saw Self-Esteem, I heard the song. Just the
Yeah.
Just great fucking song.
That is a good song. And speaking of good songs, before we get into this, no, it's not a song, but I realized I'm a very relatable meme, and I am the 40-something name 3 songs meme. Yeah, that's me. That's definitely me.
Bro, I'm right there with you too.
I'm like, oh, you like that band? Yeah, name 3 songs. Like, I don't say that, but that's totally my attitude and demeanor. So.
Yeah, it's, and I think we shared this before. It's because our love for music and our love for like our bands is like our own personal thing.
Yeah.
It's a personal, it's like I wouldn't say our identity, but like it's a huge part of our lives. So we want to certify that what the fuck you're listening to.
I think it's also that we hate posers. And I think that's been a common thing throughout music, at least through punk and metal.
Yeah.
And skateboarding community. It's just like frowned upon severely.
It's funny you bring this up. Did you see the Kourtney Kardashian shirt that is driving everybody nuts?
It is part of why I'm bringing it up too.
Okay, I knew
because I saw the meme with Travis Barker, and it didn't bother me, but then it bothered me a little because in my head I'm thinking like, I bet you Travis Barker doesn't even listen to Cannibal Corpse.
No, I feel like Travis does. Because
he might. I don't want to shit on him, but it was just like a funny dumb point I was making. Like I didn't want to be like those old rocker dads that are like, don't fucking wear my thrash band shirt. But at the same time, like, just support your makeup. Just get the fuck out of here, dude. No one needs your fucking... I mean, wear whatever you want. I can't tell people what to wear, but other people can. So why can't I?
Here's the thing. Like, I feel like Travis Barker, sure, he does listen to Cannibal Corpse, but it's not like it's in constant play in his... You know what?
Yeah.
Travis, if you ever listen to this, if you can just go ahead and like link up your Spotify so we can listen, so we can certify you that you're not a poser, sir.
I know Flea just got into Cannibal Corpse, which to me is...
But you know what? It makes sense.
It does, but then I feel like, where have you been? Like, they came up when you guys came up. Like, you don't know who Alex Webster is? Because that's the thing with me is, like, when you're a musician... I feel like regardless of genre, you know who your other musicians are. Like, that's just your clique. It's like how we are with music. That's how they are with musicianship. And it's just always silly to me. But you know what, though? I always kind of feel like the mainstream rocker guys are a little above. Like, I'm not shitting on Flea, but I just feel like when you're in a commercially successful band, either you get distracted from everything else or you just choose to avoid it. And I feel like guys like Flea that are so successful, they don't want to focus on other people's success unless they're friends with them. So I guess I kind of understand it, like, since he doesn't have a rapport with any of them. But me just being the musical geek and nerd, and I'm always looking at who's who and what's going on. Like, even with like Turnstile, you're like, oh, this is an up-and-coming band that in a couple years is going to be way bigger than they are right now. And even though they're blowing up and they're on Roadrunner Records, it's like, I still feel like they're going to be doing bigger things, like, hopefully, if the entertainment industry can figure this out. But yeah, I mean, they're a big up and coming band, and you got to look shit up. That's why I was a little, not to be off subject, but I was like, wow, really, Flea? You're discovering a band that's been around for almost 30 years. Anyway,
it's funny you bring up Turnstile and then you also say shit, because I'm not sure if you heard what happened here in
Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz. Yeah,
I heard it on the radio.
You heard it made the radio?
It made Sirius. Okay, so my car, I have the Sirius XM free trial. Okay. It made Liquid Metal, which is ironic. It made Liquid Metal.
For those who do not know, Turnstile is this band that me and my media friends, we all been really digging, especially the new album came out. It's way bigger progression from their like hardcore, kind of hardcore punk rock,
kind of weird
punk rock,
atmospheric at points. like
Yeah,
weird
and now they went to
electronic.
more atmospheric kind of shoegaze, kind of punk. I don't know. It's
Oh
weird. It's
yeah,
cool,
I like it.
but I dig it a lot. And they were putting a show on Monday, August 30th here in Santa Cruz, and apparently somebody took a shit, literally took a shit in the middle of the pit, and then they reenacted the cover of Dookie. Apparently, they threw it up on stage also.
But I don't think
And
that wasn't the band who orchestrated it. It was just random people, right?
random people, exactly, random people. And my buddies over in Pinup, I'm good friends with the promoter, Pinup Productions. They're like, literally, who the fuck did this? We can ban you. Like, this is like, besides the disgusting point, like, we're living in a fucking pandemic, and this is completely unsanitary. Like, who
Yeah.
the fuck? Come on, bro. But it's crazy, dude. When I read about them, like, fuck, I'm glad I couldn't make it to the show.
Yeah, mask up, dude.
Yeah, please.
That's
Please.
when I'm gonna say annoying shit like that. I'm gonna like if you're throwing shit around, yeah. Now I'm gonna definitely Now I'm gonna talk shit about everybody. No one's safe.
Hey, here's another thing also. You remember how a couple of weeks ago you're saying you had to sell your dashboard tickets?
Yeah. Oh, I know it got canceled. Dodge that
It got
fucking
canceled.
bullet. Because
The
then I
whole
wouldn't
tour got
have been
canceled.
I wouldn't have been able to get refunded though.
Yeah.
They would have just been like, here's your credit for another show you can't go to. So goddamn, I made that deadline. Amazing timing. I know. I was thinking about that this week
insane,
too. Because I felt bad for the guy I sold the tickets to. I mean, I did through Ticketmaster, so I mean, it's not like I screwed him over. But I'm just like, that sucks for him. He paid because I had to charge a little more. It was like $10 more than I paid because I had to make my money up from the fees.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take a loss. So the guy paid a little more than I paid, maybe $10 more ticket, $20 more. But that's what sucks. He paid 20. He lost that 20 because they're not going to give him the 20 credit. He's just going to have tickets to a show for face value.
And I don't understand, like, why is there still like a fucking transaction fee? And I get it, Ticketmaster needs to get their cuts, but like the only way you can buy tickets now is through Ticketmaster, dude. Like, it's just. It's a shitty situation, dude.
It's a scam, and it's shitty because, like I said, when I explained it when I bought them, like they charged me a ticket fee when I bought them. Mm-hmm. Why are you charging me? That ticket fee should be like waived when I sell the tickets. Like not for the next person, but for me. Like I shouldn't have to pay for the ticket fee if. Oh, I guess that's not true, but I'm just saying, like it's a ticket fee. I don't mind a ticket fee, but make it like $3-5. Making it like $25 sometimes or $15.
Yeah.
It's insane. If you buy like 3 or 4 tickets, you're spending an extra $60.
Here's the thing.
And then you got tax on top of that.
I get it. Live Nation, Ticketmaster, whatever. You need to get yourself a little cut for being the middle person, for getting you the ticket.
They ain't no from. Yeah, but you make it sound like they're helping people out. They're like one of the biggest fucking corporate companies in the world.
I know, but I mean, thinking rational, like, yeah, I understand there's business. Unfortunately, you have fucked people over, and I'm pissed off. I'm paying a $25 ticket for fucking nosebleed, and then I'm paying top of that and another like $15-$20 on fucking fees. But like, I get it, but where do you fucking draw the line? Like, how much convenient fees are you giving me? It's not like you fucking sent me an email or you gave me a call or you already have the tickets on reserve for me. I still have to search. I have to fucking battle the bots and shit to buy these tickets. I'm putting all my information. So where's the fucking convenient fees, or what exactly are you doing now besides just providing like a fucking website?
Monopolizing the ticket industry.
And then there's stupid like, arena fee. And then there's like facility fees and all these different fees in there. I'm like, really, I'm already paying $25 to go to the, SAP Center or something. Why do I have to pay the SAP Center an additional fucking fee to use your? I don't know. I wish they would just provide a one number and that's it, with no like surprises. Please.
And sure, if it's flat, you can raise it with inflation. But fuck, dude, come on, $15 and tax. Ridiculous, you end up spending $30, pretty much $30 on top of whatever you spent. Yeah. Which sometimes is only $30. That's what kills me. It's like I'm almost. What are these Bomba fucking concert tickets? Like I buy a ticket, they donate one. Like it sucks.
Yeah.
I spent $60 for one ticket when it cost $30. How is it that the fees and tax are as much as your ticket? That's
It's ridiculous,
insane.
dude. Like, it's ridiculous. And then, like,
But then you don't have this problem with the expensive tickets. And that's what I think they're doing. I think what they're doing is fucking us over, fucking the poor people over. And then what they're going to do is then they're going to be like, well, okay, have it your way. We're not going to do the fees anymore, but every concert's $150 no matter where you sit. I could see that happening.
I can see it if it's like general admission. Sure.
Well, you're right. Because if you go to the Chase Center, you can't even find tickets for $150. Good point.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's general admission, cool. First come, first serve. Fucking get there 5 hours before the concert starts and shit, or whatever event you're going to go see. First starts, that's fine. Like, whatever. But I think that's why I still like the small do-yourself kind of,
yeah,
you know, or the small places, small ass venues where it's like $15 a pop, go in, no fucking service fee or no fucking convenience fee or anything.
Maybe buy a drink or two, help the place out.
Yeah, you know, and those are always fun, dude. 100, 200 people tops.
I mean, but here's the thing. Then you got to worry about shit. So
that's true.
There you go. Maybe that's what the convenience fee is for, is cleaning up the poo and at the Catalyst. Everyone pays for it.
No, it wasn't even at the Catalyst.
Oh, it wasn't the Catalyst?
No, it was the
Oh, that's good because I like the Catalyst.
It was the American Vet Hall. Which is like
that place is used
to.
No, that's fucked. I shouldn't make vet jokes.
Yeah.
I actually now I should. That place is used to having soiled. No, never mind. All right, moving right along.
I see where you're going with this one.
Yeah, I was gonna say old vets that wear diapers.
Yeah,
that's where I was going.
Yeah. Hey, I know. This isn't a Slipknot appreciation.
I mean, why not? We've been talking about him for like 4 episodes, so let's keep it going.
I know. Have you seen Corey's new mask?
No.
Fucking insane. Look it up.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll look it up later because it's dead air.
Okay.
It's looking.
It's way better than that fucking milk thing he was wearing before.
Oh yeah. Well, he had one mask from like 2000. I think I didn't like the one from All Hope Is Gone or something. Even though I liked that record. Isn't that the one where he's like, it literally looks almost like a clear mask plastic thing that's like only got circles for eyes? And
oh yeah.
I wasn't big on that one. It didn't suck. Like, it's just when you compare it to what they've done before, and you know, if like that was the only mask he ever did, I'd be like, oh, that's a cool mask. But then you're like, no, dude, they've done cool shit. So it's like, I'm gonna talk. Yeah. I'm gonna be like, no, that sucks. Go back to the old one.
I can feel you in that one.
But that was a good little way to warm us up a little bit, you know?
Yeah, that was a good little, hey, how you been? A little catch up.
Nice little ease in, little toe in the water. So yeah, we're talking about self-esteem and like what it means and the root causes of low self-esteem and how to overcome them. So
yeah.
I know most people know what self-esteem is, but just to give you the Oxford version, actually, it's not the Oxford version. I went on another website that is terrible that I should be able to cite my sources, but I did take this from a site, but it's okay because it's not like I defined self-esteem. Yeah. But in psychology, it's a term used to describe a person's overall subjective sense of personal self-worth or value.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's good.
Right.
That sounds about right. Because it is.
I think
the key word is subjective.
Yeah. That. And with self-esteem, it's such like a universal term. I think it's not people gonna like fucking fight what specific definition it is. Unless
they're talking about the song and it's a live version of the studio. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know.
I don't know, man. I kind of like it live better than the studio version.
I like the one they played at Woodstock. Wait, was that song even out at Woodstock 99?
Yeah, dude, that song's like from
97 or 98 or so. Yeah, that's right. Because it had that's from the record with the cockroach and the kid on the swing, right?
No, it was way before that.
That was before that one too?
That one was the Pretty Fly for the White Guy.
Oh, that's why I like that one.
Yeah.
That really spoke to me.
But the before that was Insane the Hombre, which was like one of the first punk rock records I ever bought. That was like 96, 97. And I think the Self-Esteem one came in the album before that. So it had to be like 94-ish kind of thing. I'm pretty sure a quick Google search will tell me. But, go on.
But, we all suffer from, most people suffer from and are privy to low self-esteem rather than high self-esteem. So we're probably going to be talking a little more about low and balancing that out.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some root causes, There's really only two. I did a little research and I thought to myself, and there's only really like two root causes. It's others and yourself. And to elaborate, others could be like authority figures like parents, teachers, boss at work. But basically what it is like in either the way you're perceiving it or the way they actually are, they're being more badgery than they are being teaching you or helping you.
Yeah.
I guess you could say constructive, right? So they're badgering you more than being constructive. Same goes for the other thing, which is yourself. We all have that voice in our head, and it's usually not a positive one. At least for me, I can admit mine is not super uplifting. Sometimes it's like, hey, come on. But it's like most of the time it's like reinforcing terrible crap. But yeah, like like one of these, I took a quote from the article that made me laugh because it's like, I'm such a loser. And it's so relatable, but it's just the word loser cracks me up. It's so demeaning, but it's so not a cuss word or anything terrible. Like on its own, it's like, oh, whatever. It's a Beck song. But then like when you call someone a loser, it cuts deep,
And the thing is like we find it funny because it's such like you see movies from like the 60s and the 70s and so like, oh, what a loser, oh, what a dweeb. But I mean, each generation has their own version of loser, where it's not like a bad word or anything like you just said, but it's like, fuck, I am a loser.
But it's also how you say it. Because if you just go, shut
the tone also.
Oh, come on, loser. Like that's not that bad. But if you like emphasize it and enunciate,
you're a loser.
Or like angrily say it. Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah. No, dude. And definitely like teachers will definitely do this to you. And we all experience it like, well, you just want to be a loser and, go work at McDonald's. Like fucking McDonald's is like a bad thing to work with. Like
that is.
I
mean, for a high school kid, I'd be like, cool, but I agree with that teacher. You need to set your higher standards.
Yeah.
But just communicate it differently, teach.
Yeah. Just exactly. I think you gotta be very careful with your words nowadays, or not nowadays, but just always be careful because it could be just one of the word that just like wrecks everybody's fucking life. Like, oh, don't be a sissy, or don't be a wuss, and it's just like shit. Okay, yeah, and then like you create this freaking toxic masculinity person, macho man for like the rest of your life because you got called a wuss or a sissy or a girl or whatever.
Yeah.
At a young age.
That's true. I also feel there's a cutoff before we get into overcoming the lows. I feel like there's a cutoff with that because I feel like as much as I do feel there's nourishment and you need to like properly like talk to your kids and build them up and all that, you really do got to give them a perspective as well. And sometimes that is going to come off harsh. Yeah. Because you really got to set them up for reality, which is not that you're going to be like, you can't do that. You should second guess yourself. No, that's not good. But what I'm saying is like, sometimes it's like saying don't be a sissy is wrong because of the way you're saying it. But the meaning behind it is perfectly okay, at least in my opinion, because a sissy, regardless of your temperament or emotional level, is never a good thing. So I get the message, and it's like, and it is important when it's like, do better and want more for yourself, but just say that, like, but that's the thing. Those people are conditioned based on what they dealt with. And so it's like, they're just passing the torch. And
if you're talking to your child and he's afraid or she's afraid, I guess in this case it'll be he, afraid to try something new, instead of saying like, oh, don't be a wuss or a girl, I think Coop and I like to believe that when we're talking to in your case, when you're talking to your children, in my case, my students, we know what word to pick so we can be clear with our message, but not like demeanor them. So rather like, hey, dude, don't be afraid. You can't be afraid of trying stuff because then you're never going to know what you're capable of. Right. And that's what sissy means. And like when somebody tells you, don't be a fucking sissy, It's just like, yeah, but you know, at the same, yeah, it's a much faster, easier way. But at the same time, like you're also already challenging that kids or teenagers' manhood.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
then all you're really doing is telling them to say that to other kids.
that's true.
Because then all kids do is they want to learn and share what they learned. Because that's how pure at heart children are. They want to help others with knowledge, and it has nothing to do with race, dollar amount, anything. It's all that shit just comes later.
We deal with children. I have my niece; she's 5. You have your kids also who are around the same age, and I mean, we see this like the kids will show you something like on YouTube or what they learn at school, and they're like super excited to teach you what they just learned. And you, I mean, in the back of your head, you're like, fuck, I really don't want to hear this right now, or like I got no time for this. But you got to put a little smirk in your face, like, oh wow, this is so great, because you want to encourage, you want them. Yeah, because
could you imagine if you were like, dude, that would kill them,
dude.
That would kill their spirit.
It always brings me back to it was a skit from Family Guy. But Stu is like showing
Peter, they throw him in the garbage. Or no, they laugh at him.
Yeah, look at this. Like once he walks away,
like want to spit on him.
But yes, spit on it. Like,
I remember
why would you spin the little kids like artwork?
Family Guy. That is definitely one of my favorite ones as well, because it's just so over the toply, just mean, that it is one of the funniest things.
But
in the world.
Imagine, like in real life, if you were to do that to your kid, like how much fucked up shit is that kid gonna go through now? Because
you're creating you're creating a future Cure fan. That's definitely a given.
Yes, it's either gonna be a Cure fan or a fucking psychopath.
Yeah, exactly. And you're hoping for psychopath. No, I'm kidding. You're hoping for Cure. No, I love the Cure. I'm just shitting on them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't you have like 2 or 3 of the records, like right there to your left?
I got one, but you could say, I'm enough of a fan to the point where I shouldn't be bashing them, or I should because I support them.
Yeah, it's ours. We can do whatever the hell.
I bought the LP. I'll say what I want. Now,
I support. Damn it!
Like you're just a bitchy ass that buys everything so you can talk shit about it. I feel like the artist would be okay with that.
Every Friday, I'm in love. Okay, what do you want from me? Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna do one too, but I've spaced. Damn it. I was gonna bring up it's before one little thing. Yeah. The new Turnstile record, at times with the melodies, gives me Cure vibes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah.
On the guitars, I'm like, dude, this is sick.
With the what the effect are you, like the chorus?
Yeah, on that one song on track. What is it? The second track of the new record?
Yeah.
What is it called? What is it called again? The new record? God damn it.
I know the new record's called Glow.
Glow, there you go.
And I think the second record
starts with an A.
Yeah, it's super like mellow one. Shit. And then they go to like a Circle Pit song also right after.
It's kind of mellow. It's more jumpy than mellow, the one I'm thinking of. Anyway, great band. Check out Turnstile. They got a new record out. I think it just came out like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, like a week or two. That's definitely a band to recommendation of the week.
I am going to do a little video journal when I go on to this concert.
Mm-hmm.
And Turnstile's going to be there, so I will give a full review of how they were.
Oh yeah, be surprised. Be ready. I've seen them before live. They're pretty good.
I hope it gets to a point where I get drunk enough to the point where I jump off the stage. But I also know that I need to be really drunk because I know no one's going to catch me. You
also need to do a backflip or a front flip as you jump off.
I'm going to land right on my head and just be in a chair. They're going to ship me back to California in a fucking box. But I won't be dead. I'll just be in a box because they just don't want to put me back together until I get home.
Yeah. Like, let his insurance handle it once he gets back.
We'll put Humpty back together again later.
Yeah. Bring the super glue.
But yeah, like low self-esteem, there are steps to overcome them. I pulled a bunch up that I was scouring, looking around, and I found there was some similar ones, so I pretty much only did like 5 or 6 points, or maybe 7. But they're all good, and they're not redundant. So I know sometimes with those lists that we go off of based on posts, very redundant. 2 or 3 things are always the same. So I did us a favor and didn't mention anything likewise, but let's start off with the first one. It's kind of a quote, so it's like, this is your inner voice talking.
Yeah.
I didn't win this time, but maybe next time. You know, like we were talking about that inner voice, how... Oh, wait, you know what's funny? This kind of goes with...
I'm such a loser?
No, so it's funny. Even though I said I consolidated it, the second point is kind of going with the first. The other ones are good, though. So let me just do the first two, and then we'll go from there.
All right.
So, yeah, I didn't win this time, but maybe next time. Like you said, that goes with the I'm such a loser voice in your head that's like, man, I fucked up, or fuck, I always screw this shit up. Like, that's definitely one of my weak points, so I for sure can relate to that. But to have that voice be like, all right, it didn't work, but we'll get it next time, or, yeah, I mean, that, it sounds so, like, simple, but it's not. And it's something I definitely need to put into my dialogue up there, because it's so much. If you imagine, like, I was reading this article and it said, like, sometimes you got to picture your inner voice as a friend. And would you want to listen to a friend that's always just like, good job, stupid, or man, you fucking suck, or
it goes to like,
you wouldn't want to hang out with that person.
Yeah, it goes to a couple episodes ago when we were talking about the 13 ghosts of miscommunication.
Yeah, that's true too. Like, it's just, nobody wants
to fucking hang out with a whiner, and nobody wants to hang out with a person who always like puts blame or such a freaking negative look. So if that inner voice is just being constantly negative, like,
but I think all of our voice, we need to dump our inner voices, dude.
Well,
we need to be like, all right, we had a good run, but maybe we should start seeing other people.
Yes, maybe it's time we explore different things. And I don't know, maybe we'll meet up again in the future.
You never know.
Never know. Life's crazy. No, but
blow her off.
We when I was teaching, social emotional learning when I was doing counseling over my school, we talked about this. We called it, and it's such a fucking corny ass like word, it always is fucking corny, but it's the truth. And they call it flipping the script. Yeah. So whenever you're like, oh, I can't win. You flip it to like, oh, what can I do to win next time? Or how can I didn't win this time, but I'm going to win next time. I'm going to learn. And yeah, it's really hard. And I was just talking to my cousin on Friday, about it, that dude, when you're in it and you're constantly telling yourself you're such a fucking loser, you're such a fuck up, you're a burden, whatever. Your brain, once you have that mindset, your brain will fucking like look for any small thing. Yeah. Will look for that fucking needle in the haystack just to validate your idea or validate your feelings. That's true. It creates such a fucking chaotic mindset, dude. You do that in arguments too. Yeah, I'm guilty of that for sure. But I don't. Do you remember the Brady Bunch movie at all? I do. You remember how and also part 2. I don't remember the sequel, which I think they went to Hawaii. Yeah, it wasn't that good. No, but the first one, great. The Jan, do you remember her character? How she had the inner voice? In the voice, yeah. Well, luckily, I have a little drop here, so it's relevant. We're gonna play it and okay. Hang out. Hopefully, the YouTubers don't flag us for it.
It's tough being a middle child.
You're a middle child. So am I.
Oh, well, then you know what it feels like, not being special.
What does she mean, I'm not special? Hey, she's just trying to help.
My family's not much. No kids. Though we do have a lot of livestock.
Jan! Oh, Jan! Don't listen to her.
In this day and age, if you're lucky enough to...
Who is that?
It's me.
Who is that?
The new Jan Brady. Let's knock over a 7-Eleven. Stop. You're scaring me. Me too. Me too!
Anyway.
All right.
Check out the Brady Bunch movie from, I believe, 1995.
Wow. 95?
Yep.
Wow.
But, Jan's character, if anyone hasn't seen the film, that was a parody of the show from the 70s. Really fucking hilarious. You don't need to like the Brady Bunch. It's pretty much just talking shit about the whole show. Yeah. In every sense of the word. But Jan's character, who's the middle daughter, has an inner dialogue that is pretty much sociopathic.
Yeah.
But also just kind of what we're talking about, negative, always just kind of pushing her in the wrong direction. So I've always enjoyed that, and I also can relate to Jan. So there we go. No, I'm kidding. I don't have an older sister. That's the only difference. Yeah, next, you want to take the next one? I believe.
Yeah, the next one. The next one is always. I feel like we went through this also. This helped us to kind of start in a road to recovery.
Yeah.
I don't want to say road to recovery, but our journey a journey to like not live the way we were living, and is learn a new skill. You know, try art, try music, gardening, shit. That's what we did.
Yeah,
we're into. You should see my succulents; they're fucking gorgeous,
dude.
That's awesome. But I mean, with art, it doesn't necessarily mean fucking get a piece of paper and start drawing. You know, we're doing some sort of art right here, you know, with this skill of podcasting and putting it out there. And, you know, it's just learning a new skill. And I think the most important thing about this, especially with self-esteem, is if you have your inner demon or your inner voice telling you you're a fucking loser, you're a loser, you're a loser, and you do something and you're actually winning, or you keep on going with it, or you see yourself doing good with it, it kind of changes. It questions that inner voice, and it questions your self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe I'm not such a fucking loser when it comes to this. You know, at least that's with me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's kind of like our inner voice is kind of like a head coach.
Yeah.
Like, so sometimes when the team's losing, he's going to be inherently shitty and negative. And then when the team starts winning, he's going to be like, oh, I'll buy everyone hot dogs.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's weird. They don't buy people hot dogs. Who the fuck does that?
Hotlings.
Huh?
I was going to say Home Depot hot links, but I don't think people will know that reference.
I do, because
yes,
I believe there are some Home Depots still that let you buy food.
Yeah.
And that was pretty good food.
Yeah. Hey, that little side note, East San Jose's Home Depot,
yeah,
the little food shack outside, that fucking hot link, hot dog, sausage, whatever you want to call it, fucking delicious.
Dude, they probably make so much money in that parking lot.
Oh,
there's so many people there.
Us included, like every other week.
Oh, you guys go over there too?
Well, we used to. I used to go with with like people from the inner circle of ours, just to go eat there.
But yeah, I mean, eating a hot link is always delicious, and that's part of happiness too. That could be your new art: farting out hot links.
Hey, Coop, let me go back really quickly when you're saying like with the I'm such a loser kind of thing, or like when people like tell you something.
Yeah.
Because I have a perfect example of this. We have a mutual friend. And while we were kind of touring together, we were playing outside Sacramento together. Mm-hmm. And we bought a 24-pack of beer. Uh-huh. And so we're chilling. I think I'm not sure if it was like before the set or after the set, whatever. We're chilling in the van. We're drinking. And our mutual friend goes, "Here, Danny, have a beer." I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, I have a beer, whatever. And then like this dude's just pounding them. He's just pounding beers, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like on the second one or something. And he goes, "Oh, dude, you got to catch up, Danny. I need like a 5-beer commitment from you. I need like a 5-beer minimum commitment from you."
Yeah.
And I looked at him. I'm like, dude, 5 beers? Like, you got to get right with God, bro. But I was quoting a Breakup Kid. I'm not sure if you ever seen that movie with Ben Stiller.
Oh, Heartbreak Kid. Yeah.
Yeah, Heartbreak Kid. There's some Danny McBride's character screams at him, "You gotta get right with God," and as he walks or something. So I said that to our mutual friend. I'm like, dude, you gotta get right with God, bro. And this fool got quiet for like 2 minutes. He got quiet, and then he starts laughing. He goes, "Man, fuck you, Danny. Like, you had me over here rethinking my life decisions and shit." Because he really was. Yeah, because I'm like, dude, you gotta get right with God. And I guess it's like, he kind of like reflected himself, like, fuck, I really do. Am I really that fucked up? Like he got it, like he started like reflecting on it. And I think he realized, oh no, he's just fucking with me or he's just playing with me. And then he started laughing. But yeah, it's just like when you drop a little something, like a word or something, you might not think it's a big deal, but maybe for the other person it's a big deal. Cause we had our friend rethinking his life choices for like 2 minutes, you know? And it's always, I always love that. I always throw that quote out there also. Like, I need an X amount of beer commitment from you. Or I was to say, you know, bro, you gotta get right with God.
You know what's funny is when you said that, he probably pictured his grandma's face on your head.
Yeah.
You know how, like, you know, when the people fucking, you know, he's like, you gotta get right with God. And then he's all, Grandma?
Oh my God. I do.
You know, as I look down at these King Cobras, I'm realizing they don't sell these in 24 packs, so this joke's pointless.
Yeah. No, and I think it was what was it? Was it Coors Light? We always drink fucking Coors Light, or
they're
like
cheap.
Yeah, that was like
pretty good.
Hey, if the mountains are blue, baby, it's party time.
The mountains are blue. Yep.
Anyways, yeah, I was just thinking about that, and I had to like, oh, before the episode's over, I have to remember. I'll tell you about that story.
That's good. I like it.
And I think you know who the mutual friend is.
I don't know. I didn't guess it in my head, but you can always tell me later.
Okay. It was during my summer with Maya.
Well, I figured that out.
Okay. Anyways.
Yeah. I figured it was them because I don't know how many touring bands you've been with.
About 4, but I'm just playing.
But that one's probably the big one though, right?
It's the only one. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, okay. So it was the only one. All right.
Yeah,
okay.
It was the only one.
I'm like, I don't want to shit on the other 3 bands, but
right. Yeah. Now, where were we? But yeah, learning a new skill, dude. I think learning a new skill, like just trying. I think also with the learning a new skill is just basically breaking the routine.
Yeah.
You know, it pushes you to try something new. Like, okay, this whatever I'm doing is not working because I'm having a shitty life and I'm miserable. So let's switch it up a little bit. Let's incorporate something. Let's drop something. You know, and I think by adding a new skill into your life or to your, you know, whatever, it makes you break from the routine.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's something we always need, especially after being faced with such negative, you know, results.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely helps redirect your focus, you know, and then instead of like having no focus and just dwelling on things that aren't real, which is what we do when we're like idle hands, right? It basically keeps your hand not idle. Like you're doing something, you're learning something. Yeah. Your mind is like, learning is a very aesthetically pleasing thing for the human mind. Like, people not mock it all the time, and like, but at the same time, like, it's like learning isn't going to school and reading a book. Learning is like reading something. Learning is talking to people. Learning is so much, and everyone, unless you're even a complete piece of shit, likes learning because they learn to be a complete piece of shit. So it's like learning is a pretty universal hobby that is aesthetically pleasing to most people. I mean, you probably have to be like some crazy, I don't know, dude. I can't even think of a crazy person that doesn't want to learn. So,
you know,
I don't know.
I was just showing a video to my class on my block schedules during the week. And we have this social justice teacher from Oakland, Dr. Jeff Duncan Aldrade. And he in the scene, you have teachers saying like, oh, Mexican American students, they don't like learning. They're lazy. They're all this shit. You know, actual teachers telling, you know, this teacher, this is like in Arizona, like
now timeline?
No, like 2009.
I mean, I would say that counts as now-ish. I meant like decade-wise, but yeah.
Within our lifetime.
Right.
And Dr. Jeff Duncan Andrade goes, you know, I've never had a problem. I've never met any kid who hates learning.
True.
Who has a problem with learning. We have kids who hate school, and that's the difference. And I think it's not necessarily that kids or our humans, we don't want to learn. We love learning. We love working on a new skill. It's just the way it's delivered.
Yeah.
How you go about it. I think that's what either stimulates our brain or engages or doesn't engage us. Because, I mean, all these quote unquote bad kids or bad people, like, we all fucking play video games. and all these kids want to fucking pass each like level and shit. So they learn from their mistakes, and they're learning how to, you know, move forward in the game.
Right.
So it's not like they fucking hate it. It's not like, oh, fuck this game, I want to learn how to pass this game. You know, they just, it's not engaging, dude. And I think that's the thing also, like you were saying, it's just, as humans, we don't like learning. It's just the way we learn about it. It looks
survival.
different for each. Yeah.
It's a very primitive thing. And I think that's why it's so common, because it's ingrained in our DNA to say, I need to learn to survive, right?
Yeah.
You know, so
absolutely. And
it's like, I'm learning to be more friendly. I'm learning to be more social. My clan is getting bigger. It's all survival, you know, like, can you imagine like you're a primitive caveman and you're an asshole and you're all by yourself. Good luck hunting, dude.
Yeah.
Good luck doing anything. No one's going to help you. No one's going to blow your caveman dick in the cave.
And
shouldn't say
us as humans, we're social people.
Yeah.
To an extent. I mean, yes, you have
no. Even introverts are, because they require. I mean, dude, they have some level of social.
Yeah.
Even if it's going online and playing fucking League of Legends or whatever they do nowadays, that's pretty old school.
Yeah.
My level 16 wizard is gonna help me get through this hard time.
Yeah. Oh, I'm having such a bad day. Some what was that game? Some Red Alert. Some Half-Life. We're gonna play some Half-Life. Shut up, Stinky Boy 69.
Oh, like
Fuck
Red Dead?
Yeah.
No, but it's funny. I'm shaming all these people, but look.
Oh god, I play Red Alert. I'm not even gonna lie. In Half-Life, I'm not even gonna.
No, dude. Look, we're all guilty of something terrible. So I mean,
we all guilty of trying to play WoW for at least a week or two.
No, you know, as much as I talk shit about like nerds, I am one. I still have my Magic cards, and I grew up with. Yeah, there you go. I grew up with Warcraft, so the original MS-DOS game. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up? What's up, fucking nerds?
Well, cálmate, fucking WoW hipster.
I'll say what the fuck I want.
Cálmate, fucking hipster with it. Oh, I played the original. I played with the old school.
I just want to point out how excited I am to be involved in an inclusive group that I can denounce. Racially, that is an unknown feeling.
Yeah. No, dude.
Unless it's Irish.
I mean, I'm guilty, dude. Who the fuck am I? Of course I'm guilty. I played fucking Pokemon. I never played Magic because I couldn't afford it, and my parents would not buy me.
I think you're being nice. I think it's a whole new level of nerd too, though. I feel like socially you have to go down a peg to play Magic the Gathering.
But you know what? It's a lifelong commitment too.
It's a fucking okay. So I try explaining it to people that don't get it, and it is pointless. I might as well be speaking like Arabic. But
yeah,
it's hilarious because I'm like, no, dude, but that's the thing. I'm also from an art background, so I enjoyed the cards because of how dope the art was.
Yeah,
but to someone who doesn't care about that either, that's not a good point. They're just like, so you have a card game and you just like looking at them. Yeah. So once again, moving right along, we all have our issues. By the way, I want to get back into it. I just got to find a fellow nerd to play with me.
Well, I think they do like meetups every now and then.
No, I don't want to do randoms.
So come on, bro.
I even saw like I'm such a piece of shit. Like I saw someone in my community, because you know everyone's community has like a Facebook page.
Yeah,
that you take with a grain of salt, but whatever.
Or like next door or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So one dude in the area was like, I play bass. Who wants to be into jamming a band? And in my heart of hearts, I would love to do that. But I also know that I don't know if I want to do it. Because I'm like, I don't know shit about you, sir. I don't know if I want to just assume you're cool. But then, see, that's the negativity and the toxicity. But then that's also survival. Because what if this motherfucker is putting out a wanted ad and he wants to chop my ass up?
That's true. But Coop, here's the thing. I would ask, what kind of music are you thinking about jamming?
Oh, that's true. I think he said like hard rock or metal. I'm like, I could do that.
Okay. Because if it's going to be like fucking funk and like all this like jazzy or like nothing but scales and shit, I don't know how to play fucking scales for like the life of me. So
yeah, but here's the thing too. Like whenever it's just a bass player, it's I mean, how much are you gonna get done?
I'm not even
the drummer's not the drummer's not even no, and I didn't mean it like that, but if the drummer's not even part of the jam yet, you don't have a band and you don't have enough like push to be like, yeah, fuck that. We're not doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't even have a drummer. You don't even have a complete rhythm section.
Yeah.
How are we going to write music?
And I mean,
it sucks. It's so much easier to write music with a drummer. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. And let me be honest with you. As a bass player, you can maybe come up with a bass line here and there. But come on, bro. You're playing bass. You're going to be, unless you're fucking Flea and no one is fucking Flea. Well, I mean, there's like 10 people who are on the fucking Flea like category.
Yeah.
Like the dude from Primus and shit. But the thing is, like, unless you're like that type of player, you really don't have a lot to offer on the table. Let's be real here.
But you know what a lot of bass players do, and I don't know if this is because the bass players I'm referencing were originally guitarists, which a lot of bass players were. But a lot of them will write stuff on the guitar and then kind of be like, oh, you know what? All right, well, maybe I can go for the bass. But see, that's the thing. Bass lines aren't always root notes, so you don't know. A good bass player isn't always following the guitar. You know, you're in key and you're able to complement what they're playing, because that's the thing. If you ever hear a good bass in a punk band or a metal band, it's distinct because it's not playing under the guitar. You know, it's got its own place in the mix, and it's doing something to contribute to the song. And I love that. I think that's what all music should be.
Let me talk a little bit about myself because we're talking about this. If you go back and listen to the track California Hates You, we have two guitars and the bass, and we're all playing different notes, but they're all playing like it's the same note, just in different parts of the bass or
octaves,
different part of the scale. Yeah. So you have the lead. I'm following the lead, where when I barely started with the band, I was playing like note to note what he was playing, but it was just so much gain. It was so much mid and high.
Well, and how'd you even hear yourself?
I'm sorry?
And how'd you even hear yourself when you were playing?
You kind of hear it because it gives it like the more, you know, the tone is a little bit different hard, with the bass. Yeah, but it really wasn't distinct. And it wasn't until like literally about a month ago, I'm like, you know what? Let me just play up here. And it gives it like I think also goes back to, look at me being a fucking, linking my problems with music. I think also it's like my own confidence, my own self-esteem of like playing bass, where like I don't want to stand out. I don't want to play something different. I don't want to stand out. I'd rather like follow along what somebody else is doing out of fear of like fucking it up or not doing it right. Yeah. And then literally like 2 or 3 weeks before we went to the studio, I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to play like this. And I started playing like the higher, because we're playing drop D. So I was playing the lower notes, the lower octaves. And it just that makes that song sound so much fucking beefier. And I think it came back to like me just being, building self-esteem or being confident of what I'm doing in my craft and just fucking going for it. Fuck it. What's the worst that can happen? If it doesn't work out, I go back to playing the way it was, Yeah. But it's that fear.
But like you said, it's that stupid voice, it's like, we all have that voice. It's like, why am I doing this? Like, at least try and get better. And then also, like I saw this post on Instagram. It was one of those like inspirational ones, but it was like Usain Bolt talking about how he trained 4 years to run 9 seconds. Mm-hmm. And people are complaining about 2 months of work and how they're not seeing results. And I'm like, that's a really good fucking perspective. It's
that's
like,
a good fucking
he had a goal and it took him years to fucking maybe accomplish. Yeah. He did accomplish it, but if he didn't, would it all for naught? I don't think so. And I don't think they'd feel that way. I think there would be a level of disappointment, but it's good insight because it kind of tells you like, yo, like even with this podcast, there's moments where I get like, I'm like, man, like, why isn't this happening? And why isn't that happening? And I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm putting the time in and we don't know how long we need to do it, but also you got to stop comparing, the grass is greener, or it's a hard thing to do when you're trying to work up. But the thing I notice I do it, like I notice it does bother me, not like out loud, but it does bother me when certain people are like killing it. Yeah. I don't do anything. I don't say anything. I don't really act out. But on the inside, I'm like, of course, I'm thinking like, fuck, man, when's my shit? When's our time? But like, I'm also thinking like, damn, like that's hella jealousy, you know? Like that's hella fucking shitty jealousy. And it's like, why do I deserve it? Maybe that person worked really, really fucking hard and earned it. And I just think because they got something, I should have one too. Like that's stupid.
Yeah, that's a very like childish mentality. But I mean, yeah, I feel you, dude. Like, why is it that I've been doing this for the past X amount of years? 3 years now. Not necessarily this project,
right?
But with different projects, I've been doing it for like 3 years already. And have I seen some success? Absolutely. Have I met people who never in my wildest dream I would have thought of met? Absolutely. This is people who now I have their personal telephone number. I know a little bit more about them than like just like their internet persona, whatever. But at the same time, yeah, it is hard. I'm like, how come this person's getting more attention? How come this person or how come this project is blowing up more?
Right.
But sometimes, yeah, you can't. It's hard not to bring that up or think about that, especially people. I would just say people like us, but anybody who like deals with like self-esteem and anxiety and depression and shit. It's always like, fuck, when is my turn?
Yeah.
When's my turn? When is my lucky break?
And you know what? Your lucky break might stem from that new thing you pick up. I don't know how many times I've heard stories about people being like, you know what? I was on a rung, and out of nowhere I decided to pick up a bass or pick up a paintbrush or start fucking driving trucks across the country. Hey, that's an art. You can learn how to piss
really
in a jug and not run into a school bus on a 2-lane highway. That's an art.
Yeah. Please don't create no traffic on the 5, please.
Yeah, just turn around on the 5.
Yeah.
But that kind of, what you were saying kind of goes into the next point about the one after the one you were just on that we've been on for a little while. But
surround yourself.
Yeah. Because that's kind of what you were talking about. Like, in a way, like the positive side of it. Like you were surrounding yourself with people that, you're like, oh, this is, like with the band, you're surrounding yourself with people that are pushing you creatively. And I think that's probably been one of the most beneficial things you've probably been part of for a while, because it's so collaborative and there's no agenda. There's a creative one, but there's not like, you guys have to write a certain amount of notes, and it's just like, do something, put it together, make it sound good, which I make it sound easy to do, but that's the super easy dumbed down version of what it's like to make music. But yeah, I mean, I think surrounding yourself with inspirational people is important, but I also feel like surrounding yourself means not just saying like, oh, I'm going to keep my same group and then find nice people. Like, surrounding yourself with positive and inspirational people means ditch the fat, ditch the cancer, get that shit out of here. Start looking and assess really what's going on, and understand that, excuse me, the people in your circles, regardless of family or friends or both, it should be helping you, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So step 1 is understanding what you need, right? Which is, I need to be around nicer people. Step 2, you're probably going to realize you're not the nice one either.
Yeah.
So step 2 is going to be fix your shit. But you got to at least get into an environment where you understand a perspective that's not the same biased one that you've had forever. So I think that's part of it. A lot of these tips are breaking cycles, because I think our brains get tired and mundane, and it just gets bored, and then toxicity starts. Shout out System of a Down.
And
it's
20 years.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know. I saw that too. Fucking Loudwire. Thank you, Loudwire, for keeping me up to date.
Yeah, thanks for reminding us we're old. Thank you.
Yeah. But I just cut the fat, man. I've been doing this a lot with my personal life. There's so many groups of people I'm not really even talking to or trying to talk to anymore. And it's nothing like groundbreaking, but it's just like, you got to be around what you want to be around and what you know you can thrive in.
Yeah.
Or not necessarily thrive in, but potentially thrive in, because it's okay to want to work towards greatness with these new people, because they're supposed to, it's like surround yourself with 5 of the best people, right? And it's always like, if you're the best person in that group, find a new group. So yeah, exactly.
For me, I think cutting people off and just completely cutting those people off who was kind of letting me down, it is a very empowering moment. Also, you realize, you know what, I don't need these people. I don't need you. I don't need, this in my life. So just cut them off completely. And it's an empowering thing, because again, we're humans, so we're creatures of habits. We like going back to what's ever more comfortable to us, So of course, like, I think "Make America Great" is such a fucking smart slogan.
Yeah.
Not whatever it represents, just a slogan.
Well, yeah,
because it's tapping to people's nostalgia, and it's tapping to people like sense of like, security of like having something familiar.
Right.
So, and this, I feel like once you cut people off and you surround yourself with new people who you may not be familiar with, and you're kind of letting go of the past, it's such an empowering move, in my opinion. And of course it's scary. Of course it's scary to like, let go of somebody who was part of your life for X amount of years, an ex-partner, family member, friend, whatever. But at the end of the day, if there's just that, if you already have that inner voice and then you have this outside voice also,
right,
a more tangible voice that's causing you to feel a certain way, fucking let it go, dude.
Right.
And yes, I mean, it sucks, and it's not easy. I mean, it takes time to let go of that person, or to begin to let go of that person. But I think once you do over time, you're like, you know what? Why the fuck was I even putting up with that shit so much in my life?
Yeah, dude. And I feel 100%. It's like, if they're not willing to understand or treat you correctly, or at least nicer, and they maybe, they're too ashamed to admit it too, but they don't want you around either.
Yeah.
Maybe what they want is companionship or some kind of like convenience,
Yeah.
Some people thrive on it. Some people love routine. Some people love mundane shit and convenience, and like just want to be in their house all day long with 10 cats. I mean, it's like, to each his own, but it's like what you said, it's like, then live your life. I'm going to go live mine. And I feel like, we all have choice. We all have free will. So, crack down on that with yourself.
It's because nobody wants to be the bad person. No one wants to be the villain.
Yeah.
So like admitting to somebody like, hey, you know what? I just don't want to associate myself with you anymore for this and that. Like, it makes you feel like a bad person,
Well, I guess that's one side, but I guess it depends on the situation also. But for me, I feel like it's all about how you communicate it too. Like, if you just tell them, go fuck yourself, I don't want to be around you anymore. I've done that before. You do feel a lot more villainous. You understand it didn't come from a place of villainy. So you're like, I'm not a bad person. I was just upset. But like, when you're calm and talk to people about it, I don't get that vibe. Not at all.
Yeah.
I don't think it's villainous at all. I think what you're saying is my feelings are valid. Your feelings are valid. I'm unhappy. I'm addressing this out loud, and I'm telling you a solution for it. And most of the time, people come to you with issues, they never have solutions. So if you're like saying like, I have a solution for this problem, not only is that not villainous, but it's super helpful in more ways than one towards that other person. It's like, you're setting a good example for what should be done, but you're also telling them like, I'm considering your feelings too. That's why I'm like, we got to stop this. And the only reason it's coming off villainy is because that voice in your head's telling you, oh, remember all those times you had together, and you're just going to throw it all away? See, that voice sucks, man.
Yeah.
That voice doesn't help us at all.
Throw it away. Who cares? You don't owe anybody anything just because you had them for like, or this person for X amount of years. You
know what helped me with that too? Because if you look at it like that person doesn't exist anymore, it's a pretty hardcore feeling. But I think what you need to do is go with the route of the mindset of like, okay, we had a great run. Like, not even being sarcastic right now. Just like we had a great moments in time that we're going to cherish forever. But that's what those were. And that's not what it is now. And like right now it's something else. And we'll always have those moments. And they're always going to be special. But that's all they are. They're moments. That's not right now. That's not, you know what I mean? And it kind of helps you because you're going to kind of cherish what it was. And that's what you're scared of. And that's what you're sad about is you're breaking up with something that was part of your life. And
for some reason you had hopes that it might go back to that.
Yeah. And that's another thing that's rough is like managing those expectations, right?
Yeah. And it's funny you say that, Coop, because one of the one of the quotes that I read was something similar to that, and it really fucking spoke to me. At the time, I was just feeling super shitty with about how things ended with my old relationship, and how as much as I try to be in this person's life as a friend, as whatever,
right,
I wasn't getting the same response, or I wasn't getting like the same. You just knew it wasn't there no more.
Right.
It wasn't there. Mm-hmm. And I remember I saw like one of those, same thing, inspirational quotes or whatever. And it said, don't be sad that it's over. Be glad that it happened. And I was like, fuck, that was a completely different perspective of like how to look at any situation, not just a relationship, but any situation. Like, don't be sad that it's over. Like, yeah, it sucks that's over, but be happier than happened and cherish those memories if you want to. If not, fucking erase them from your mind.
Right.
But I think it's look more at the positive outcome than the negative.
Yeah,
things.
then treat nostalgia we should treat nostalgia as like a photo album versus like what used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guilty of that too, man.
Same, dude.
I live in the past a lot.
Same, dude. Same.
I'm always like, I wish things were the way they used to be. I always think that. Yeah. And it's not even real. Because if anything is old age has taught me is nothing's changed but my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
When I was younger and I said, I wish things were back the way that they weren't. They were the same people then. It's just I was a child.
Yeah.
So they treated me maybe a little different because I was younger. And also I looked at things differently because I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think it was Bill Burr brought up, he said he took shrooms for the first time, and he said it really changed his perspective on parenting because his whole like bit and his whole life, he's kind of been like, man, like I don't hate my dad, but I didn't have a great relationship with him. And there's so many things like he did wrong that I don't want to do, which I feel like every parent says. But then he also kind of went into detail about how he said, but if it's anything my trip taught me was that, like, there's like three truths to, well, there's probably more than that, but there's at least three truths to an argument or an event. If there's two people involved, there's three truths. There's the universal truth of what happened, and then there's each person's side of what happened. Yeah. Now that goes with anything, relationship, the way you perceive a relationship versus the way your woman or your girl or your partner perceives the relationship is going to be different than you, even if you guys are on good terms. So I think like when you're a kid, you're like, you look back on your childhood and you're like, man, they were mean to me or abusive. And then, yeah, if you got hit with a fucking belt, that was abusive. But I also feel like we dramatized our fucking memories because we were only like 4 or 6 or 8. And you know how dramatic children are.
Yeah.
So it's like part of letting go, I think, of our issues from our past. I mean, I'm not excluding like fondling or weird shit like that, but I'm saying if you didn't have anything that was like sexually or physically abusive, you kind of got to start looking at things like, or verbally, I'm like if you had an abusive relationship, but you kind of got to be a little more fair when assessing your folks. I don't judge them for how things were back then because like I was a kid. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I didn't know what was right and how they should do things. So for me to look back on a memory and be like, yeah, Dad, it sucked back then. Like, I don't think that's fair. Because it's like, you don't know the whole story. You don't know why things were hard. And so that's kind of helped me with my past. all my beef right now is with my present, which is nice. It's nicer to have a present issue that you're dealing with rather than this looming thing in the past. Like, I've got a couple things that are still haunting me, but hey, man, it's a lot less than what it used to be.
Coop, you legit just like hit what you're talking about, like taking a different perspective of the past and how it impacts us today. That's like something I've been teaching my students for the past three weeks since we started school. As you know, as my audience know here, that I started teaching ethnic studies, and there's been a lot of like pushback for ethnic studies, Mexican American studies, African American studies, whatever. CRT is a hot word right now, critical race theory. But there's been this pushback from it, and one thing we just used to quote, and I'm gonna misquote it. It's from Maya Angelou, but she says, look at the past, regardless of how painful it might be, with a more critical lens. Really be open with yourself, so you don't, repeat this, so the history doesn't repeat itself in the future. Something around those lines. Yeah. And yeah, this is what I was telling my students. Like, hey, like we remembered things when we were smaller. Because our brains chooses to pick certain things to validate whatever we want that feeling associate or that memory be associated with. Right. But like, if you really like think about it, maybe it wasn't so great. Or like, if you go, like I was telling, like, okay, who's been to Chuck E. Cheese? And of course, like I'm over here East San Jose, so like Harry, oh man, Chuck E. Cheese used to be hella bomb. Oh, the pizza used to be so much better. It got so much. They got so much like sucks now. Yeah. I'm like, cool. That's funny you say that. Do you think it actually got better, or was it better back then, or do you think it sucks? It's like, no, it sucks now. I'm like, what about the video games? And I'm like, think about it. I'm like, you might think it was great back in the days. And now maybe certain aspects were really good, but overall, like it wasn't so much different. As a person who's been living here in San Jose for, East San Jose for like 20 plus years, I can tell you Chuck E. Cheese never been that good.
Chuck E. Cheese never so good. Chuck E. Cheese is trash. It always was. It always will be. I didn't even like it as a kid, but I think it's because my folks were foodies and they were like, the pizza sucks. So I remember going to school and getting in arguments with kids because, like you just said, kids in the 5th grade swore by Chuck E. Cheese. And I think it's just because the parents took them there to ditch them. So they were just like, oh, video games, pizza, of course. But it's just like you just said, it's a child's perspective of awesomeness that is blinding how shitty the fucking food is. But it's true. Like, birthday foods at those places are never that great.
And now once you go back to a place and you're like super excited, you try and you're like, this is not so good as I remembered. Yeah. Oh shit, this just happened to me on Tuesday for my birthday. Remember we were talking about
happy late birthday, even though I told you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. But remember how last week we were talking about Chinese food places? We started the episode with like talking about Chinese food. And I was talking, I'm like, oh, right now my favorite place is this place called Boda. Mm-hmm. Well, Boda was closed on Tuesday. I don't know which restaurant closes on a Tuesday. They're usually they usually close like on Mondays or something, but whatever, or Sundays, but whatever.
I think I think Chinese culture, I think Tuesday's like their Sunday.
Really?
I need to look it up, but I might be generalizing, but there was a Chinese place in Union City, same thing. But I think they're always open on sport days.
And I think, but I was like,
I think they're like takeout.
I think you're right, because I had a feeling like, oh shit, they might not be open today. So they weren't open. So we decided to go to Golden Buddha over there by Evergreen.
Yeah, over there on Aborn.
Yeah, on Aborn. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember trying it like 11 years ago or whatever. Oh, and I got it. And you know what? It wasn't so good.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't that good.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah,
but it wasn't that good. Like my expectations were a little bit higher. I think
it was probably chain good.
Yeah, it was. It was just like, first things first, you should never compare anybody with anybody else or anything with anything else. I think that's the biggest mistake that we as humans can do. But I remember like comparing it to like, oh no, the chow mein at Boda is so much better, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but like the next day I reheat some more and I ate it and it was fucking good. But I feel like you shouldn't be comparing people or food or memories to other memories. You know, that's my point of that.
Yeah. I mean, comparing food is, I mean, I'm
Yeah, I
okay with
guess you can
comparing
compare
food
food.
because then that's kind of reviewing it.
Yeah,
Fuck food. No, I'm kidding. I love food.
yeah,
But I'm just saying, like, yeah, if you don't like it, don't go back. But you
Yeah.
didn't say that. But you said their chow mein was better the next day. I have had places that are like that.
yeah.
It's just sometimes that greasy or whatever the fuck it is, just heated up the next day is so much better.
You know what I think it was though. Also, is because I was so hungry on Tuesday, and I was already comparing it. I had my expectations set to a certain level.
Yeah.
So next day when I tried, I already knew what I was getting into.
Yeah.
And you know what? It wasn't so bad.
But see, that's like going to see a movie. Like, I'm the same way. Like, I don't want to have any fucking, like, dude. So, for instance, that's why I fucked up, like, last week when I went to go see that Reminiscence movie that's on HBO. I could have just watched it for free.
Yeah.
But because I didn't want to watch the trailer, because I wanted to go see the last two movies I've seen in theaters, I did not watch I saw the old trailer, so that's not true. I saw Old and I saw that, the movie I was just talking about. I already forgot. With Hugh Jackman. Reminiscence.
No, I forgot what you called it. But yeah.
Interesting movies, very different. But I wanted to go see it because I miss the fun. And it's like when you watch the trailer, you see an outline of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, trailers should be scenes. I really think what they should do is they should make a trailer a scene of the film that they're willing to throw out there as a promo. Because it shows you what's going on and it doesn't give away the plot. The trailers nowadays are so fucking terrible. Like, you almost don't even need to watch the film.
Yeah.
Besides the character development, everything else is explained in the 3-minute trailer. It sucks.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's why I was like, I'm going to avoid this. I want to go with an open mind. So kind of like with your chow mein on the second day, you were like, look, fuck the trailer for this chow mein. I'm just going to eat this thing. And you enjoyed it.
Yeah. And you know what, Coop, is so, I'm getting goosebumps as you're saying this because today at 4:00, and I can say this because this is not going to be released until a later date.
Probably Tuesday.
We're going to go. Probably Tuesday. Okay, it's gonna be released. Hey, we observe Labor Day here in this podcast.
Damn right.
No, but we're gonna go to my coworkers. They're throwing him a surprise party, and his girlfriend rented out like a whole movie theater. So we're gonna go watch that new Marvel movie, which I don't even know.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah,
with the dude from Kim's Convenience. Yeah.
So here's the thing. First off, I didn't even know what movie we were seeing. I think I was talking to my buddy like on Wednesday or Thursday as we're walking to his car because we're going also. I'm like, hey, dude, what fucking movie are we watching, by the way? And he goes, oh, it's this one. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like,
you thought it was like a foreign movie at first, so you're like, oh, shit.
I thought it was going to be like fucking, what's that show that they always come around?
Like the Cirque du Soleil shit?
Yeah, it was that one that comes around. Not there's one with like Shang Fu, whatever.
The Chinese, yeah. I know.
I'm like, oh fuck, is it that? I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, let's pay to watch that on a screen.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is that, dude? He's like, bro, it's the new Marvel movie. I'm like, there's a Marvel movie? He's like, where the fuck have you been? And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna go in there with no expectations then.
Yeah.
And I have not seen. I've seen posters.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a trailer. I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea of these characters. I have nothing perspective. I know it's based off one of the it was like on Netflix. I think that character came up a couple of times like on Daredevil or like
he's part of the Defenders maybe.
Yeah, I think he was part of the Defenders, which it's on my list but I never saw it. So I'm legit going to go into his movie with like with nothing as far as like what to expect.
That's perfect.
I haven't seen the
I think
trailer
you'll
or
enjoy
anything.
it more.
And in a way, I'm kind of excited because it's a more pure, honest approach to anything.
Well, it's more of a cinema experience than just watching a movie.
Yeah.
You're going, you don't know how you're going to feel, you don't know what to expect.
I have no idea what the character does.
That's movie magic, man. See, we're so caught up with knowing about how our food tastes before we taste it and all this shit.
Yeah.
There's no joy in experiencing anything anymore. You know, there's no thrill of uncertainty.
That's the problem. And one thing I'm guilty of this too. I'm not going to lie, but like, and we've done this because we used to do this with our 1-star reviews. But like anytime we look up, to new place to go and eat, we always look up on Yelp and see how many stars they're getting and all this shit, and based on how many reviews. And it does take away the experience. It takes away. I was coming back from Disneyland this one time. Yeah, story time. And we're gonna stop at we're in Anaheim, driving up. It was my sister and I. We did like a weekend trip to Disney. And on the way back, I told my sister, you know what? We're gonna stop at Downey to get some Porto's bread. Porto's, this Cuban bakery place.
Yeah.
So we stopped at Downey. The fucking place, like we just drove by and the line was like ridiculous. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not really desperate for fucking Cuban bread right now. So we're going back on the 5, and we're in the stop sign. And my sister looks to her right and she goes, well, there's always Tropicana. And I'm like, oh, what's that? And she's like, apparently it's a Cuban bakery and restaurant. I'm like, what the fuck? That's exactly what I need. So I pulled up, didn't review anything. I got what I needed. I got my guava and cheese fix,
Yeah.
And I remember eating it when I was back at home. I'm like, dude, this place is fucking delicious. It was an honest review of not like looking at the, what people have said in Yelp. God knows how many fucking stars they have. It was just a random thing that I found.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
I mean, that sounds terrible. I shouldn't wish low stars, but I'm saying for the sake of this point, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know. And now, like, that's my alternative. Like, rather than going to Porto's when I'm running late, I'll just go to Tropicana. I know it's going to take me like 10 minutes just to get my piece of bread, and, I'm back on the road again. So,
yeah,
I think that was like, it's always great to go and experience things for just the experience without knowing. And I think this is why we also became such like food snobs, because we would just try places without looking it up on Yelp. We're pre-Yelp, pre-reviewed things.
It's kind of fun.
Dude.
I remember doing that.
Yeah, dude.
Like, you want to try this place? Yeah, sure, let's go. And we don't even, don't fuck looking it up. If it sucks, then leave. I mean, I enjoy that. I think we need to start. Steph's a planner and I'm the opposite, but I feel like planning things to not that she does this, but people that over plan to a detail, like, then it becomes obsessive and then you're not enjoying it. You're trying to keep things to the agenda you created. And sometimes you just got to like create a plan, which is to do something, and then just go with the plan,
have an outline,
kind of adapt.
Yeah. Have an outline.
Yeah.
Or have an idea, but not so fucking detailed.
Yeah, not like a fucking itinerary of where, okay, in an hour we're going to go here. No. This isn't a fucking sightseeing tour.
It's like, not fun, dude.
No.
I hate, like, I have 5x5. And I'm guilty of that too. But like,
to a point, but I mean, like, if it's always so structured, there's no fun.
No, dude. No, sometimes you just have to go for it and like have a general idea. Yeah, what the fuck are you gonna do? Like, I'm not gonna go fucking Seattle and be like, all right, I'm here. I'm just gonna walk left. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go see like,
yeah,
the tourist locations. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of, I know I figured I'd do the one that said Coop's issue, but I need to focus on what works, or goes well for me. And people in general, you need to focus on what works and goes well, and not dwell on things that aren't going well. Because it's just reinforcing the negativity, and it's not building you up or helping you get better or learn something. So I just wanted to reiterate that, even though we've been touching on it, but I think it's worth making the point before we move on to the next one. Which is give and help. I mean, how have you done? What did you think of this one? Did you have any input, or would you want?
No, I think is very, again, it goes out to the whole breaking the cycle.
Yeah,
coming out of your comfort zone. And it also like it goes into like learning a new craft or something. And I feel like, again, going back to the original example, if you keep on telling yourself, I'm such a fucking loser, I'm a worthless piece of shit, because I have thought, that several times.
Yeah.
once you start seeing that you're helping out and you're seeing like you have a purpose, it really changes your fucking perspective of yourself and boosts up your self-esteem.
Yeah.
Because yeah, dude, I think doing some sort of help, giving or doing some help or just doing anything, and you feel like you're doing a good job or you're feeling accomplished, there you go. I feel like that just changes everything about your life. It changes everything about what you do. And of course, sometimes is really, really hard to get the motivation to go and do something for free.
Right.
It's super hard. And sometimes we don't have time. Yeah, we don't have time or anything. But sometimes it can just be 1 hour a fucking month, and it changes your fucking perspective of everything.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, let me go sign up for fucking organization shit. It can be you're going for a walk, you see something on the floor, pick it up, throw it away. We all walk around with hand sanitizer nowadays anyway. So, picking up garbage on your way on your walk or something, or like, it can be something as simple as that. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to clean up the whole fucking park or the whole trail, but just, a quick little clean up. And it again, I feel like you find like a purpose.
Yeah. I think so too. I think like you said, when you're like, oh, it sucks when it's like free or you're not getting paid. But think about, here's something food for thought for people. How many things do you do in a day where you're not getting paid? More things you do than when you're not. Like, most people work an 8-hour job.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe less, maybe a little more. Regardless, that means it's 16 hours outside of that, minus your sleep schedule. You're probably doing something that's not really making you money.
You're probably giving your money away.
Exactly. Or social media, donating your time. You're donating your time to social media.
Yeah.
Why not donate your time to someone else, or donate your time to someone who needs it? Or like you said, an organization. You don't have to join the Lions Club, but you can, like, there's plenty of places on Craigslist or via Instagram that do, like, I remember I have it on my LinkedIn, but there is an organization that works with the zoos in the Bay Area, and you get up pretty early. I think you get there by like 7 or 8. I think it's like 8, but you clean up the zoo. Like, maybe it's like they move the animals and you get to go and, like, it's never like the bears, but it's always like, they'll move a pen and you'll like weed it, or you'll help like get rid of all the brush.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool because it allows the zoo, to let these people volunteer and see, like, get hands-on experience, like, with the zoo itself and see the animal's habitat. But it also kind of gives a community. Like, I feel like a zoo should have a community vibe. It shouldn't just be like, here's a corporate place where we shelve all these animals for you to check out and gawk at with peanuts. Like, this is a good opportunity for people to understand what goes into a zoo, like what the people do, how they take care of the animals. And most of the time they give you free admission. So if you have small children, it's probably not best. But if you're older, like an adult person, or maybe you have kids that are above the age of 5, then I would definitely recommend it, because they give you free access. And dude, zoos aren't the cheapest, and technically you could argue that that's not free, because you work to get into the to the zoo, and it's only like an hour and a half of work. I mean, it's nothing.
Coop, imagine, okay, but at the same time, the sense of accomplishment that you get whoever you went with, and like your kids, like now you're enjoying the zoo as
making memories.
And you're like, hey, I cleaned that, or I know what they're doing, or I know what kind of animals it is or something. And again, kids love to say, like to help others teach what they just learned. Like, oh, they have to clean up that brush, or else, blah, 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 blah. So it's such like a way of accomplishment. And yeah, every time we think about volunteering, I think about something that Disneyland did maybe 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Where they did a summer thing, if you're from California, and it was like, you give a day and Disney was going to give you a day. So if you went to volunteer, you sign up from some website, you went volunteer, and then Disney will give you one free day a mission. So my whole family went. Mine is my parents, but my whole family went. We fucking cleaned up some streets in Antioch. So like, yeah, we got there like at 7 a.m. Fucking an hour drive to Antioch. It took us a whole half an hour because they're like, okay, yeah, just go down to the street, clean up everything you see, and then come back. And yeah, we did everything like in an hour. It was all my cousins and shit, and we all got free tickets to Disney. I mean, granted, it costs more for us to get there with like the gas and the hotels and stuff, but we legit had a free ticket to Disney, and it was cool. It was an incentive. Yeah, and I think once you're in there and you see your progress, you see like, again, you see your accomplishment. In this case, was a bag full of garbage or whatever, some garbage in your bag. And then I remember like thinking to myself as I was cleaning, I'm like, fuck, how come my bag is not as, full as that full? So it's like the competitive side of yourself comes out as well.
Like, I need to put my effort in, or Mickey's going to get mad at me.
I'm like, fuck, I need to go to the next street and get more garbage now. I got to put in my work. But yeah, and donating doesn't necessarily have to mean your whole fucking day. It can, and 1 hour, hour and a half.
I strongly recommend donating your time rather than your money. It's been shown time and time again that that these Red Cross and all these companies, the money does not go where you think it goes. It is a small fraction of what it is.
Yeah.
If you can find an avenue to donate, and that's the thing too, I'm so weary about donations. I don't trust GoFundMes. I don't do any of that stuff. But I think time, and here's why time is so valuable. Like, people talk about money and people are poor, but here's the thing: we're all poor on time.
Yeah.
No matter who you are, it is one of the most finite resources. It's super limited, So we should be taking that and spending it smarter. Instead of, and even I can admit this, it's like, instead of going on Instagram and checking how many people checked out something or just browsing on my own as a fan, it's just like, I should be doing this while I'm on the toilet. Like, I should not be doing this any other time of the day because it is so meaningless. It doesn't do anything for me. All it does is either, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like, it gives us some kind of gratification or like confirmation that we're a real person. But it's like, why don't you go out and talk with a real person? It's so much more enjoyable. I mean, social media does what it does to help us with certain people like that don't live near us, but we should definitely not be getting used to it as our social life.
Yeah.
So invest that time, and enjoy it with the right people. We should be spending, in short, we should be spending our time collaborating and not destroying, and I know that sounds super hippie, but it's true. Like, if we would come together and form ideas rather than fighting about things, which I know sounds easier said than done, but I feel like a step in the right direction nonetheless would be nice, right? And I feel like we can't expect this from world governments, but that doesn't mean we can't, as citizens and people, we can't do it. So fuck what people are doing now. Do what's right, start the right trend, create that new trend. Let's be the change. Fuck all this bullshit about, oh, this is controlling us. Yeah, some stuff does control us, and even I bitch about it. Like 2 episodes ago, I did one. But at the end of the day, man, we make choices, and we got to do what we got to do. We're the fucking captains of our enterprise.
We can't be selfish.
No, not with that. Selfish. Not with time.
Selfishness is what got us here to begin with.
But yeah, did you want to maybe take the final? Do you want to do Danny's final thought? Like Jerry's final thought?
Today we learned. No, self-esteem is for me, it's always been like associated with some negativeness. Like every time I think about self-esteem, it's like, it's low. And if a person has too much self-esteem, they're too confident. Right. Like, and that can bite you in your ass too. It's a hard thing for me, it's really hard for me to celebrate my wins. I feel like those are just things that are expected from me. But since, having these type of conversations with you, Coop, and, you know, seeking not financial help, but seeking mental help and, all that stuff, you have to allow yourself to, you have to reward yourself, and you have to give yourself like compliments that you're doing good. So, as far as like my professional life, as far as it comes teaching, like I'm in a fucking all-time high right now.
Hell yeah.
I feel like I'm back into my groove. I'm surprisingly, I'm teaching something new. Yes, familiar to me, but is new, and students seem to be engaged. I've been hearing nothing but like positive things from everybody, and it's just like, I think I was telling this to my principal and my manager during the week. I'm like, I'm happy. My class is exactly how I envision it to be. As far as procedures, students, procedures and everything, getting students' attention and stuff like that. Yeah, of course you have like the bad kids here and there who they just want the attention, but they're kids. You can't get pretty pissed off at them. But it's the first time I'm feeling this since I started working with this new school. And because when I came in, I was just in a completely fucking different mindset. I was on a trip. So my self-esteem and my confidence in that is definitely growing. So long story short is I know it feels like it sucks right now. Whoever's listening, it might feel like it sucks right now. And I know it's such a fucking cliche thing, but it gets better. Just seek your help, take your time, and build that self-esteem, build that confidence, and it gets better. And once you start seeing positive, or start focusing on the positive outcomes, not in the negative. And it won't happen. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Great idea. Let me switch it up. It's hard. It's a skill. But once you start focusing on that, it just gets so much easier, and you'll see the changes in your attitude and your presentation and just your overall like energy and health.
Yeah. Yeah. You're managing something versus creating something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's always going to be easier because it's going to be something you have to do forever. But like you said, if you're at least in that mode, you just keep going versus like having to change up. So that totally makes sense.
Yeah, dude. That's my only final thoughts. Just like, it sucks, but we work on it. It's a skill. It's a skill you have to keep on working on it, just like we do.
It's a skill we're going to continue to work on till we're dead.
Absolutely.
Because even for old people, just because you get wiser doesn't mean you don't have that voice. Which, by the way, do old people have old voices in their head? Does it age with you?
Fuck, that's a good question. I mean, I guess it has to.
Probably does.
My
it's
voice,
probably subjective.
My voice is not like an 8-year-old fucking. Imagine like my voice being like a 5-year-old.
Hey,
like, when I was like super high pitched, super freaking like broken English and shit. Like, yeah, that's not my.
You're just craving chicken nuggets.
Ooh,
you're like, all I want is chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets with
like
barbecue sauce.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
So on that note, eat healthy. Don't eat that. Because we talked about that last week.
Yes, please.
Also, just, like, go over what we talked about. There's some steps just some steps and some pointers towards a better self-esteem and managing those lows. We all suffer from it, and I feel like this helped me out a lot. I definitely have 3 or 4 things I'm going to work on from this, and that's what this is. It's a work in progress for us as much as it is for everyone listening. So thanks for joining us on this journey. We're going to keep going, and we will see you guys next week. This will be out Tuesday morning, so enjoy your Labor Day. Hopefully everyone had a good Labor Day, and let's finish out the week strong. Thanks for checking us out, and as usual, be kind and be safe.